He
You
was like,
farted,
well,
bro. Just say it. Nada que pude ni nada. Like, me eché un pedo y no bueno.
if you don't want me to share this, we can cut it out, but I really want this in here.
Are you about to air me out?
I'm gonna, no, you air it out.
Oh my gosh, I cannot. Have you ever had those moments when you're like sleeping and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're thinking about something that you did that was like super embarrassing and like you can't believe you did that? Do you ever have
Like
those
in,
moments that just like keep you up at night and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. Like I can't believe I said that. Or
yeah, I think I get them more I get them like not embarrassing moments, but I get them more like, why did I say that? Like it could have been mean, or it could have been like when I was talking to a guy, or like, like it's just, those are the kinds of things that keep me up at night. I think the
yeah.
embarrassing moments, I'm pretty good at just laughing at them at that time. Like I'm the type of person that will just laugh and like almost like point and laugh, like
Mm-hmm.
almost a little humiliating. I'm working on it. I'm sorry. But, um, but yeah, but there definitely has been some moments that have kept me up at night, but I don't know because it was embarrassing. It's because I'm still laughing about it, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
no, I definitely have those moments where I'm like, why did I even say that? That is super embarrassing, and I can't stop thinking about it. And I just like continue to embarrass myself, like
oh my
in
gosh.
bed by myself while nobody is watching me, and I'm just like blushing because I'm like, that is the most embarrassing thing. Like, why did I say that?
Or like, I could have said this instead, like when you start like making up a conversation in your head, or like making up
Oh,
comebacks,
but
dude.
those really happen to me when somebody does something that just really bothers me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, I
somebody does
agree.
something, and then like this really also happens to me when I'm taking a shower. Like I'll just be like in the middle of like, like doing my thing, and then I'm like, you know what? And then blah blah blah
Girls,
blah blah blah.
girls
And
start swinging in the shower.
come at
Dude,
me, come
now
at
come
me.
at me, bro. Yeah. Yeah. Let me at him. Let me at him.
No,
Dude.
I've never gotten in a fight.
Oh, good for you. I've never admitted to my mom that I've gotten in a fight. I know that she knows, but I've never actually admitted it to her. So I'm kind of scared that, because I know she watches with
Hola.
subtitles. Yeah. But I remember one time I had a black eye, and she asked me what happened. But I had already like made up a story prior to her noticing. Like I
Mhm.
was in the shower, and then I was like, Mom, I just fell. And she was like, what? And I was like, I just fell. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, nothing, never mind. And then like I came out of the shower, and then like time went on, like I went to go grab dinner, and then she was like, what happened to you? And I was like, I told you I fell in the shower. And she was like, oh, okay. Years later, she then asked me, like, who did you get in a fight with? And I was like, what? Because my brother ratted on me. He was like, Mom, did you know that you're Letzi, blah, blah, blah? And then she just goes, who did you get in a fight with that day that you had a black eye? And I was like, I don't remember. I don't know what you're talking about. She goes, you know what? I don't want to know what you kids did. Like,
Yeah.
but
Lo que callamos las mamás.
yeah, for real. So
Really,
I've
like,
never
there's a,
admitted.
I, sorry, I know that none of us have kids, but one of these things that I like think about it, sometimes I'm like, I don't know how I could deal with like a lot of these things. Like, as moms, like walking into your kid doing something that they shouldn't be
Yeah,
doing,
yeah.
or like when they start dating, or just like, just things
How do
that
you
like,
handle that? Yeah, like,
um,
because your emotions right there and then, obviously, like, you have to act fast, think fast. Because if you like lose it on them, and like you did the incorrect thing, like, how do you fix that? Like, I don't
yeah.
know. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know. My mom, I can't say that she let us get away with a lot, but she definitely pretended like she didn't know what we were doing. And then she just hoped that we would redirect
Yeah.
our path or whatever. Or she would bring it up in other ways, like later on in life, like she would teach a lesson on following Christ or like, something like that. Like she was kind of funny like
Yeah.
that. But
It's now as an adult, again, even though I don't have kids, now as an adult, I can see how kids do certain stuff. Like the other night, I was crashed out, like I was asleep, and then I heard some noises, so I woke up, and like I wake up and Abraham is like in the window and he's just like looking at the window. And mind you, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then he's like, I'm calling the cops because there's some kids outside. They're just out there and they're just like being noisy. And I'm like, okay. So like I got up though and it looked like freaking Tokyo Drift out there. It was like a
oh
bunch
yeah.
of cars and just kids outside of the cars. And I was like, no, really, what is happening right here? But it was just so funny getting that to that point of your life where just like,
Yeah, like
darn kids.
you're that grumpy old man. Yeah. Dude, that's so funny. Have you seen the videos of like they put like how chismoso my husband is or something like that, and they're like recording the guy like being on the at the window.
I've never seen that.
Well, they are like at the window and they're like this, and with all the lights off or whatever, and then the wife
Oh,
will like open up the curtains and like he's just exposed and he's like, "What the heck?" Like it's just so funny, dude. That's just so embarrassing. It's so funny.
yeah. It is kind of embarrassing, especially because like guys like pretend like they're not like
They're
that.
not into the
But
drama. I
they
know.
are. They really
No,
are.
dude. Have you seen those videos of like the girls being like, "This is how chismoso my husband is," and then they'll be like, "Jen, no," and then the husband
And then
just
they
like
like come
peeks out
back.
of nowhere. Dude, those are so funny to me. I'm like, honestly, goals. It's
Yeah,
so
outing my husband
funny.
right now, but like there are definitely times where he says certain things and he's like, so like what's been going on with this person? And I'm like, you would want to know. Like when you come at me with tea, I'll give you the tea as well
Dude,
because it
that's
can't
so
be
funny.
one-sided.
Yeah, for real. This is a mutual relationship.
This is a mutual relationship made up of trust. So the only way that I know that I can trust you is if
It's
you
if
give me
you,
the tea.
yes,
What I
exactly.
do with that is beyond you. Shared on Hither
Exactly.
and Tither.
Thanks for joining, Tina. Dude,
With that being
remember,
said,
I remember that one time we did that to my brother when we were FaceTiming with my brother. Dude, this is so funny. We were FaceTiming with my brother and he was like spilling his heart out to us and like telling us about like his dating life and like this and that. And then all of a sudden, Emily just looked for her perfect opportunity. As soon as he got a little bit quiet, she was like, Theaters, thank you for joining us. And he was like, he did
he
not know
got
what to
white.
do. Yes, he was just like pale. And then he was like, you're joking. And then we both just busted out laughing. And we kind of did feel bad because he really was like venting to us about his situation. But it was just so funny. It was so
But
perfect.
also, he deserves it because he always says the craziest things. He's always out of pocket. So, you know
He is
what? It was
unhinged.
a really good moment where we could like come back to reality and be like, got you, got you.
Yeah, he is
But
very
Theaters,
unhinged.
he was, like we've mentioned in other episodes, he was the OG Theater O.
Yes,
So,
he was the OG
gotta give him
Didero.
credit
So
where credit is due. But anyway, welcome to another episode of Hither and Tither. For those of you that have joined us before, hi again. And for those of you who are new to our podcast, I'm Em.
and I'm Yo, and Greg, and I'm Yo. Get ready because it's about to get embarrassing.
Doo-doo-doo.
What's the H and T today?
You know what? I just had some really good Taco Bell,
Ooh,
and I say that in a very interesting way because I don't love Taco Bell. I don't always, I mean, as a Mexicana, as a purebred 100%
You're
Mexican
bread,
woman,
bro.
okay, yes, like I'm not a fan of Taco Bell. No, no, let me take that back. I love Taco Bell, but not all the time. Okay. I love me some Taco Bell, and every time that I go, I order the Doritos Locos Tacos. And OMG, OMG,
Dude, we both just remember the same thing.
we both just remember the same thing.
Core
Um,
memory, bro.
core
Core
memory, but
memory.
let's save it. Let's save it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
But
Put a pin
anyway,
on that.
anyway,
Anyway.
anyway, Taco Bell. Doritos Loco Tacos. Yum.
Nice. I had 51st Deli today because some friends, we went to go play pickleball in the morning. And then one of my friend's husbands was visiting in town because he lives in Memphis right now. And she's going to move over this weekend. But she was a teacher, so she was just waiting for the year to pass. To finish off her school year, but he loves, every time he comes here, he loves going to that sandwich deli, and so that's where we went to lunch, and it was actually really good. That avocado was really fresh today.
Yeah, I
So
love
yeah,
avocado.
that's the H&T here. But dude, say the story. I am dying. I just wanted to finish my H&T so that we can get on with them because it was so
So
funny.
our theater topic for today is your most embarrassing stories. And this was like not planned at all, but when I started talking about Taco Bell, I know that you also remember the story. And so even when we were talking about like, what like the topic,
Yeah.
we talked about, well, what are most embarrassing moments? And one thing that we talked about was the accent, right? Sometimes saying things that come out that are, whatever.
Yeah, it's a
So
Texan.
there are two really funny Taco Bell stories. So I'm going to say the one about you, and then you can say the one about me.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Okay. So there was one time where you and I were going through the drive-through.
Our daily drive-through
Our
because
daily drive-through.
we were there all the time.
We used to go to Taco Bell and order what was it even called? The Supreme, not the Supreme, the
A
burrito,
big quesarito.
the quesarito. Oh my gosh, the cheese. Cheese. We talk about cheese a lot in this podcast, but the cheese was really good. Okay. And so we ordered this all the time with steak, not with chicken, not with
No,
ground meat,
get
with
out of
steak.
here with
We
that
paid like an
steak,
extra
baby.
$1.70 or something like that so we could get the
And we were
steak.
so broke. We were so broke.
We were so
Like,
broke,
I
but
don't know.
we bought our quesarito, okay?
Every day.
And every day. And talking about cheese, actually, the cheese fries are actually really good
Oh,
at Taco.
yes.
Oh
Yes.
my
Like they
gosh.
coat them in cheese, like cheddar powder, and then you dip them in the nacho cheese.
And the nacho cheese is
Brother.
super good. Like it's
So
not like
good.
fake cheese. Like it's
So
like
good.
real good cheese.
So
Anyway,
good.
let's go back to the story. So we were oh yeah. So we were going through the drive-through and Yo was driving and they're like, "Oh, welcome to Taco Bell. Like what can we get for you today?" Or whatever the little spiel is. And then it was the quesarito,
Yes.
but they came out with like
They had like a
new
quesarito big box.
a quesarito big box. And so this one over here, she's like, "Can I have the Fury one?" The Fury.
And they were like, huh?
And they were like, "What?" Mind you, we're in
Excuse me,
Idaho.
ma'am. What did you want? Yeah. The Fury? What is the Fury,
The
ma'am?
Fury? What is
What
the
is
Fury?
it?
Could you further explain on that Fury?
Can you put that
Um,
in a sentence?
it's the fiery quesarito. But we're Mexican. We don't know
Yeah,
that.
we're
We
Mexican.
don't know that. Like
I
I feel like things need to come with like those little parentheses and then the phi dash re because how are we supposed to
yes.
know how to say it?
Honestly, like when I go to the app, like they should have like an option where you press the little sound and it should tell you how to say it, you know? Like You don't
Yeah.
catch me correcting you when you say tortillas.
Tortilla, or some girl said Paulo
Tortilla,
once.
right?
Like Paulo,
Ew.
Paulo, you mean pollo?
You mean pollo?
Pollo. Some
Like, you
person
don't see
bored.
me correcting you on those things. Don't
But
correct me on my
anyway,
theory.
don't correct me on my theory. But let me tell you that I did argue with my pre-K teacher, or no, she was my kinder teacher. I argued with her because I was reading, and the word very clearly says colonel. Colonel. And she stopped me and she was like, it's colonel. Ma'am, tell me where the R is. And here I am at 5 years old arguing my teacher, there is no R. How can you
Like,
tell
what do
me
you
this
mean?
says colonel where there is no R?
Yeah. How is this cano said no? I don't understand.
Or for the longest time when I was in the first grade, and I only found out about this because I got in trouble because they called my mom and they were like, "Oh, she's never showing up to this." Mind you, I was in first grade. But when we were little, when I was in when I was in first grade, I would there was like this list and it would tell you where you were supposed to go. You would either go to counseling, you would go to music class, or you would go to PE. So unless it was counseling, I always went to PE. But I was supposed to be going to choir. But I never saw it because it said choir. So I always read it as choir. So I'm like, oh, they're having choir today. So let me just go to gym.
Gosh.
And so for like months, I was just skipping out on choir
Choir.
class because I'm like, oh, I guess they're still not having choir. Well, it didn't say choir, it said choir. So, you know, that's
No,
a good.
dude, one time I will get back to this Taco Bell story, but I just remembered um one time we were at a Bible study class and there was this one girl. Well, there was a bunch of people, but there was this one girl that said, well, in P Psalms, it says blah, blah, blah.
Peace.
Hold on. She said P Psalms. And the teacher goes, what? And I said, she said P Psalms because I also thought
Sorry, you didn't hear her? She said peace songs.
she said, she
Peace
said
songs.
P Psalms. And then someone next to me goes, Psalms. And I was like, like I just didn't say anything, right? And then later on, she goes, oh, did you just say it like that so that she wouldn't get embarrassed? Like, so that I wasn't just correcting like one person, like it was correcting a group. And I was like, yeah, I knew that you said it Psalms. I did not know that you said
I
it
didn't
Psalms,
want
bro.
you to believe her.
Yeah. Like I was doing it for the greater good. Like
I totally
I for
believe
sure
I
knew
thought
that it was Psalms. Dude, I was like, oh my gosh, that was so embarrassing. Anyway, Taco
rant.
Bell.
But okay,
We,
okay. Just so you know, just because we're Mexican doesn't mean that we're the only ones who don't get it. Because go ahead. Go ahead and please say the story so that we can just prove the point that it
oh,
has nothing to do with being Mexican.
okay. So we were in Taco Bell. This time we decided to get our steps in and we got off.
We actually
We
got.
went into the store and we were in line and Emily was in front of me. And the guy goes, oh, what name do I put this under? And she was like, Emily. And he was like, Emily? And keep in mind, guys, I've already mentioned that I'm the type of person that will laugh and point, and it's a little humiliating sometimes. Like, I just cannot hold my laughing. Like, that is just my outlet. Me laughing is my outlet, and sometimes it'll come out at inappropriate times. My mom has struggled with this my whole life, but he then goes, Emily? And she was like, no, Emily with an L. And then he goes, oh, Lemony, bro. I died. I was like, how did you get Lemony, bro? Guys, I was bent over laughing so hard. Like, I literally was like, because then it was my turn to order. And I told them, I was like, you need to give me a second. Like, I'm not even ready to order. I am dying laughing. Anyway, and he's just like, he's just
With
there, like,
that being said,
watching me
this is
laugh.
why now we are M and Yo.
Yeah.
Because apparently Emily is too
People,
hard. And if
I'm
Emily is too hard, you can only imagine what Yoletzi is.
golly, man. No, and even now, dude, I say yo, Y-O. And then see people will be like, Joe?
Joe with an X.
Yeah. I'm seriously like, oh my gosh. Anyway, I just react to Joe, but it's actually really funny. Another embarrassing moment that I remember, I hope you don't get mad at me for this one, but one
Wait,
time,
would I get mad at this?
I don't know. And if you don't want me to share this, we can cut it out, but I really want this in here. I'm
Are
gonna
you
take
about
what
to air me out?
I'm gonna, no, you air it out.
Oh my god, I cannot.
So one time, I don't know why I was sleeping in your room. So this is when we lived in Idaho and we had separate bedrooms. But
You don't know why?
I probably,
We're
we wanted
needy.
to have a
That's why.
sleepover. Yeah,
We wanted to
we
have a
wanted us,
sleepover even though we were roommates.
even though we lived together. Yeah. We wanted to have a sleepover. And we were like, it was in the morning already. And you let out the biggest poot, bro.
The biggest one.
Poot. You just let it rip, bro. And I was like this, and I was like, what the? And then you out of nowhere, you were asleep. And then you were like, and I just busted up laughing because I was like, did you just wake us both up? And you were like, huh? It was so funny, bro. It's just honestly, I know, like that will forever be my favorite, like embarrassing moment of you. It is
Oh
so
my gosh. But you know
funny.
what? I would like to say that I was asleep, so it was an accident. And how could that be embarrassing if I was asleep, right? But
I feel like I just opened a whole can of worms now.
I do have another story where I accidentally aired it out. And this was really, 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 really embarrassing because I didn't admit it then, and I'm about to admit it now.
You
Okay.
know? Ugh.
This was a long time ago, so that like I'm way past it. Okay, everybody has moved on with their lives, so I feel like I can go ahead and just share this now. But
Ugh.
okay, so there was this one time where I was at this boy that I was dating. I was at his house, and I I feel like that moment where people are like, "I'm here to tell my truth."
They just take
I'm
like
here
the
to
deep
set the
breath and they're
record
like,
clear.
yeah, they're like setting up their mic. They're like, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we were sitting down and we were just having dinner, and everybody was there, like mom, dad, siblings, everybody was there. And obviously, like they're a family. I was the outcast at that point, right? But I don't remember what I did, and I don't know if it was the food or I don't know if it's just me. I don't know what happened, but like I really felt it coming, and I tried to just like, like play it cool, but it came out. And then I did the whole like look at somebody else,
Hello?
right? And everybody turned around and looked at me, and I was like, it was the chair. Calm down. It was the chair. Eh,
Trying to
Everybody knew.
replicate the noise.
I know, and here I am trying, like, come on, chair, please. I tried so hard to like play it off because it was so embarrassing. But ever since that moment, like later on, like if somebody would hear a noise and they'd be like, "I was the chair. It was the
Ah,
chair.
la chair.
It was the
La
chair."
silla, la silla.
La silla. Um, um, but yeah, I unfortunately do have quite a few of those.
Oh my gosh, dude. I remember one time, and I'm actually, this is the first time I'm ever saying this as well. So whoopsies. Um, it was also with this guy that I was dating, and I pooted. And he
You
was like,
farted,
well,
bro. Just say it. Nada que pude ni nada. Like, me eché un pedo y un bueno.
I tooted. And then, and
Say,
then,
okay, princess.
he looked at me and was like, what was that? And I said, what? I don't know. Did you think I farted or something? Like, I like told on myself, bro. And he was just like,
How dare you? How dare you accuse me of such a disgusting
well,
act?
yeah, literally, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Dude, it was
What do
so
you do with a
funny.
moment
Like,
like that?
I was like, what? Like, did you think I farted or something? I'm like trying to air it out. I'm like, what?
Gotta make sure that like those
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
don't come
like,
out again, because then I'm getting falsely accused.
I will not stand for this.
Um, there was
Dude, that's
another
so funny.
moment, and this one like wasn't. This one was like kind of like it kind of upset me, and I've never. It's like one of those moments where you're like, are you even my friend? Um, And I will say, yo, it wasn't with you, so like you're fine.
Okay.
You don't look clear with this one.
When
But
you
this
when you
was
said that, it reminded me of another time. So I thought you were going
oh
to talk about the time on the stairs. Anyway, I will talk about that one in a little bit.
okay. How about you share your own? Share your own embarrassing stories. You're just over here talking about me. Come on. No, but there was this one time I was at school, and I must have been in elementary school because it was one of those where like you would go as a class to the bathroom and like you would walk like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or like to make sure that you're not talking. You never did that? You're like we walk with bubbles in your mouth.
No, never did that.
You can't too.
I never did that, bro.
Okay, well, I mean, but anyway, so it was one of those moments, right? Everybody was in the class, and then we get in a line against the wall, and we were just there, right? And then it was finally my turn to go to the bathroom, so I went, and then I came back, and I come back, and everybody's like, everybody's dying, and I'm like, what is even happening, right? Like, and then my friend was like sitting there, and then she's like she's like dying, right? And then I just sat down, and like I was like, why is everybody laughing? And nobody would say anything. Like nobody said anything, nothing, nada, zilch. Nobody said anything. Okay. And so we walked back to class, and then I don't know what I did, right? And like I look at the floor, and there was like a piece of toilet paper, and I was like, well, that's weird. And then like I got up, and I don't know, like se vino un airecito or something, I don't know. But like, dude, I had all the toilet paper like rolling down
Mm.
my like I guess I must have wiped and then left it there. I don't know. I don't
Bro
know.
was
So
like,
like I walked
save
out
it
of the
for a rainy
bathroom.
day.
I walked out of the bathroom, and there was all this toilet paper like coming out of my pants, and nobody
Oh,
said anything to
like not
me.
even the
Yeah.
teacher?
Not even the teacher. Everybody just laughed at me and just let me walk around with the toilet paper outside of my
That's so
bag.
weird. That's actually really sad. I would be upset for you after I was done laughing.
No, but really, that's probably
No,
true.
but for real. I'm trying to think. Oh, one time, because I'm like 5'1", my Myra's dad had a lifted truck. But he didn't have any like stool, like a step stool or anything, like, or the step things that they put on the truck, right? And keep in mind, I'm already in high school by this point. And he was going to give us a ride somewhere. I don't know where, but anyway, so I try to get off of the truck. And so I had to put my chest and my stomach like this, like on the truck, like at the.
Oh, like in order to like jump up, like pick yourself up?
No, okay, so sorry. We were already in the truck. We went
Okay.
somewhere. This is as we're getting off.
Okay.
So I get off of the seat onto the floor, and I'm like this, and my feet are just dangling off of the truck, right? And so then I'm like, okay, so then I just like let myself fall backwards, bro. I ate it so hard. I just like fell right on my butt. And then I looked over and Myra was just like pointing at me laughing, dude. We still talk about that to this day. It is so funny. She's like, remember when you fell off of my dad's truck? I'm like, shut up.
I can never forget
Like,
that.
dude, it's so funny.
Embarrassing moments are tough because it's not only sometimes, right? But a lot of times it's not only embarrassing for you, but like other people that are there too. And some people can play it off, right? Some people can just like pretend that nothing happened. But I know for a fact that I'm not that kind of people. I
Hmm.
will laugh directly in your face and I will make sure you never forget it. And I guess that's why I
Yeah,
have so many
same.
embarrassing stories.
Same. My mom taught me very early on that like when something embarrassing happens to you, she was like, if people are laughing, it's up to you if they're laughing at you or with you. And so,
Mhm.
she was like, you cannot control if people are laughing at you. But what you can control is like how you absorb it, right? Like how you take
Mhm.
it. She was like if you think it's funny, then laugh with them and just let it shrug off your shoulders. If it's really something that bothered you, like then say it, right? Like, ouch, that hurt, or like, but I
Mhm.
think that's something that really helped me not intake embarrassing moments so seriously. Like just, but then that also made me just laugh at everyone. Like at the end of it all, I laughed at everyone growing up, and a lot of people did not like me for that. Like a lot of people have a hard time
Me
with
vale. Me
me
vale.
vale. Just kidding. Like a lot of people have a hard time with like my kind of humor because I just laugh at everything, and then sometimes people like accuse me of not taking things seriously or whatever. And my mom does too, and I'm like, lady, you taught me that. Like,
This is all you,
So
girl. You did
it was
good.
all you. Thanks, mama. But yeah, like I think that's actually very important. Like in embarrassing moments, it's up to you. It is under your control if they're
Mhm.
laughing at you or with you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to see it. I take things very personally and I will always like carry it with me and never forget. But something that I did come to understand as well is that it's gonna happen, you know? The other day
Mm-hmm.
I had to I was giving a meeting. Is that how you say it? I was hosting a meeting. Um and it was through Zoom, so everybody kind of like came in, and here I am, like, okay, like everybody's here for me, everybody's listening to me, and I like made sure that everybody's microphones was off, and I was like, like trying to clear my throat because I want everybody to be able to understand me.
Yeah.
And yeah, when I looked at the fact that everybody's microphone was off, I didn't make sure that mine wasn't off. So my microphone was on and everybody was just listening to me like and I kind of just like turned on my camera and I was like, well, I mean, welcome. Everybody already heard me, so I think the introduction doesn't need to go through anymore. But I
Dude, that's
think, yeah,
funny.
it's just like it's gonna happen, and most of
Yeah.
the times it already happened. So what are you gonna do about it, right? Just
Yeah. So like now, if everyone gets a giggle and a kick out of it, cool. But like if everyone feels like they're trying to like hold in their laugh or like trying to not embarrass you in that situation, like I feel like you just make the moment more tense, right?
and we'll
Now,
just laugh about it. It's fine.
if someone deliberately makes fun of you, that's a little bit different. But we're just talking about the embarrassing moments that we cannot avoid, right? Like that's what we're talking about right now. So yeah, that's crazy, dude. That's funny.
Well, thank you so much, teachers, for joining us in this super embarrassing episode where we air out a bunch of our secrets. Because why? Because they already happened and we might as well just have fun with them. But I am really looking forward to hearing what are some of your embarrassing moments. Because now that we have aired out our secrets, let us know what are some of yours.
Yeah, and let us know what are some things that you have learned from these embarrassing moments. I feel like we can all learn from something embarrassing. And like, how have you handled embarrassing moments? What are some ways that you guys have learned to not absorb the good, or I'm sorry, not absorb the bad, but like get a good kick out of it? And how are you managing those things that are inevitable in our lives? Alrighty, Theaters. Well,
Thank you
thank you
so
so
much for being
much.
here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you on the next episode of Hither and Tither. Adios.
Adios.